What's going on, guys? This is Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ back in for another great episode. And today's episode is a Homer favorite for obvious reasons. Duh. And we got Darrell Henderson versus Malcolm Brown. Who will be the guy that you take on draft day? Who will be the starting running back? These are things that we're going to go over today. So I don't want to waste any more time. So let's get right into the episode. So we got today's episode a Homer favorite, people. Now, Darrell Henderson versus Malcolm Brown. Who are you going to get? Who's the Rams running back that needs to be on your roster come draft day, people? Now, this is a Homer favorite. I'm going to try to be not biased as possible with this, but we got Ram versus Ram, so there's not much bias I can go on. So I'm not going to do too much gassing of my Homer players. I'm going to be strictly bold and big facts only, people. So Darrell Henderson is getting a lot of hype right now. But I do think the Rams will get another body, another rookie come draft day. And I think they're going to bring in somebody to compete for that starting job. And like I said, Malcolm Brown cannot be forgotten, people. Cannot be forgotten. You need to understand Malcolm Brown is the vet there, people. Henderson is going into his second year. Now, we had Malcolm Brown that's been there since 2015, people. He's on his fifth. Well, he's on his sixth year right now. So he is the vet. He cannot be forgotten, people. So we're going to do the comparison. So you have Malcolm Brown, who's sitting at 225 at 5'11". Now you have Henderson, a bit smaller, 5'8", 207, I believe he's at today. He's a more smaller back. So if I was a Rams coach or if I was the running back coach, I will want the bigger guy in to be my runner because that's what the Rams do. They have the run game going. They need the big runner. They need guys that are going to get the extra yardage. Now, with the comparison, I think Maurice Jones-Drew would be fair to compare Darrell Henderson to, where he's the smaller body, but not talent-wise. I just want to say the body size. They're very similar, and I don't think that we're realizing that we can't be jumping on this Henderson wave thinking that, you know, he's going to be the guy. We haven't seen much out of him, and the little bit that we did see, I'm not very impressed with, being that he's a smaller guy, so he's not really good at, you know, the first contact, he's already on the ground. Like every time he ran the ball in preseason, he had good runs. He's very explosive when he came out of that backfield, and he has decent vision. I won't say it's like great, but again, he was a rookie. He's going to the second year. Maybe that's the next step where he will work in those areas to be better in that spot. But what I took out of that, especially the Denver preseason game, is that every time he got the ball, he did like a little wiggle, and, you know, he's doing a little too much, and then he ended up getting tackled like off the first contact. Like contact balance is something where Malcolm Brown is very, very good at. That's where he like strives at. That's his strength. So after the first contact, you know, Henderson's already on the ground. So I don't really think that's something where the Rams would be like, all right, this will be my guy. This will be my starter. This will be who's replacing Gurley. This is going to be the guy that's going to get the ball first, second, third down. No, I don't think that'll be the case there. What I did see out of Henderson that was very impressive was him catching the ball out of backfield, head on the swivel, ready to get that check down. And he's so explosive when he gets into open space, when he has the ball in his hand. He was able to get those first downs. He was able to get the extra yards. He was able to do the little wiggle and juke that he wants to do in the backfield when he's getting the ball handed off to him. So that's what I saw. That was a key thing where I saw he was very good in the passing game. So he might, you know, transition to being the pass catching back and maybe bring some PPR relevance there. And I think that would be awesome. But again, we cannot forget about Malcolm Brown, being that he's the power runner. He's actually had time to actually learn the playbook under McVay. There's a lot of factors that go into there where I don't want people thinking going into draft day like how they did last year, where you had Darrell Henderson going as high as the 9th round in some leagues. And it's kind of alarming that people did that not knowing Malcolm Brown has been there since 2015. Why would a rookie get the leg up on a guy that's been a vet after preseason? You know, we've seen the little taste preview here. Again, that all depends on when you draft. I draft later in the month when preseason's over. So no injuries, and I get to see the guys who actually play before I go grab them and, you know, crazy rounds. Like people were grabbing Henderson because mainstream media was telling people like, oh, hey, yeah, Henderson's the guy. Ride the Henderson rave. Yeah, Darrell Henderson's going to be killing it. And then it's like you grab this guy in the 9th, 10th, or even 11th round. It doesn't really matter what round it is. It's the fact that Malcolm Brown went undrafted in almost all leagues. Like he was at like a low, like maybe 10 10% ownage after draft days on Yahoo. So it's like, how does that happen when you have a veteran there that is clearly going to be the starter if Gurley were to ever go down? You know what I mean? So, for instance, let's take week 1 against the Panthers. Malcolm Brown only had 11 rushing attempts, people, and only 1 target out the backfield, and still put up 17.3 points, people. But here you are, drafting Darrell Henderson in the 9th, 10th, 11th round, or drafting him at all. And it's like, why are you going to draft him as a handcuff to Gurley, knowing that we know Gurley's hurt, his knees were bad or whatever. So that was the narrative going into the, last season, that Gurley will split time. His snap counts will drop tremendously. And we've seen a little preview of that week 1 against the Panthers, where Malcolm Brown put up 2 touchdowns. He only rushing. I think he had 50 yards rushing or something like that with 11 attempts, but he showed some fantasy relevance. And every carry that Malcolm Brown had, he showed, like, I'm going to make this count. I'm going to get those extra yards. Feet moving, not afraid of contact, lowering that shoulder, and just have that running back vision to catch those holes, to get in those areas where he's very useful and effective. And Henderson, we didn't see out of him in preseason. So we kind of should have known in motion after watching tape of him in preseason that he wouldn't be the guy up after Gurley. So I've seen a lot of impressive things out of Brown when he was given opportunity. And I think going to this next season, I think he will get first shot at having those first reps to be able to showcase what he's really about, what he can do. Now, with this debate with Brown and Henderson, I'm not knocking Henderson at all in talent-wise. I've seen the kid's college tape. I'm very impressed. I was very happy with what I saw. I was very happy we moved up in the draft to go get him. It's just that the transition from college to NFL isn't always easy for some running backs or some players in general. So what I saw, again, was like him just falling off of first contact. That's not the guy that's going to be getting you the extra yards. He's not going to be the guy in the red zone or even on the goal line. So Malcolm Brown, being the bigger back, the more experienced, the vet there, he will obviously get the first rep. So I think going into draft day, it should be common sense to draft Malcolm Brown instead of reaching or even getting Henderson at all. Let Henderson be the guy go undrafted this year. Let's not have Malcolm Brown go undrafted and Henderson, get drafted before him. It doesn't make sense to me. And like, as a Rams fan, I always try not to be biased come draft day. I always like to go get my guys, but then I don't want to do much reaching. I don't want to be in question. Like, do I draft Henderson? Do I draft Brown? I don't know. I think Gurley's fine. Like, that's the, the Rams mentality in my head. Like, there's nothing wrong with Gurley. He's going to kill it. So I actually missed out on Brown and I missed out on Henderson, and I was okay with it. I didn't lose any sleep over it because, again, Malcolm Brown going undrafted, and then week 1, he blows up 17.3 points. Not exactly blowing up, but he put up points to where we're like, holy shit, he put up 17 points with Gurley starting, with Gurley getting most of the carries and getting most of the targets out of the backfield. So it's like, wow. Now, this is what happens when the people that drafted Henderson in the 9th, 10th, or whatever round, and Malcolm Brown sitting on waiver wire, like, oh my God, now I got to go get Brown. I just wasted this draft pick on Henderson thinking he was going to kill it, thinking he's going to be the guy after Gurley once Gurley gets hurt. And then now week 2, you go pick up Malcolm Brown where Henderson's on your bench, or you drop Henderson. That's basically a waste of draft pick there. And then Malcolm Brown shits the bed from week 2 and on. And it's like, you just shot yourself in the foot twice listening to mainstream hype and just not really analyzing and doing your research and digging in to see who will actually be the guy, who's better, who's been there longer. And it's like, that's what happens when you just basically ride the hype and not do your research. So I won't say I'm the guru or the best on the market out there, but sometimes I do know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So don't be the guy to go out there and listen to mainstream hype because it's in your face. It's right here. It's right now. They got about 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 views or followers or whatever the case may be. Maybe it's these smaller channels on the up and coming that you need to listen to that actually does the research, does the digging, that have time to respond to DMs and, just basically get that one-on-one connection with the audience. And basically, I'm not saying don't listen to mainstream hype. Everybody has their thing that they do. Everybody has, their go-to fantasy network that they like to get their information from. All I'm saying is take the time to analyze each player, especially when it comes to draft day, people. No reaching on people that don't need to be reached on. No drafting people that we know are not going to get the starting job or even be the correct handcuff to this one guy. So that's just my little rant right there. It just frustrated me that we're going into year 2 now with Henderson, and everybody's screaming HendersonSzn. And I'm like, Malcolm Brown, like, he still exists, people. Like, it's not just going to change like that overnight where Malcolm Brown becomes non-existent in that backfield, when I really don't see much out of Henderson to be the guy, to be the face of the franchise, to be the replacement for Gurley or whatever you want to put on the title. So it's like, I just can't stress enough that Malcolm Brown exists. Malcolm Brown is going to be here, and he's going to get first reps. He's going to get the first shot to showcase his ability to carry that workload. Now, they may do a 1A and 1B situation. That's fine with me, but we will see down the line who will, stretch out to be the better running back and what actually works in that offense, what gets the Rams touchdowns and gets them wins. So it's like, only time will tell. We are not, like, a lot of people don't understand, we are not sitting next to coaches and in the NFL or on the sidelines or connecting and talking to the actual active NFL players to where it's like, yo, bro, you think they're going to do this? Or, yo, they're going to do that. Sean McVay said that. No, we're not. It's just using the eye test of what we see and what we know and what's on film, people. So you definitely need to do a little digging and do a little research before you go into draft day just with the mainstream hype. Like, it's HendersonSzn. Yeah, go grab him. So that's all I'm stressing about. And again, I think draft day, I think we go get another body. I think we go get a guy, but I don't think we'll get a guy as high as we got Henderson. But I do think we're going to bring in another body there, obviously. And I don't want people to forget about my boy John Kelly also. Now, he hasn't had opportunity to really shine, to do anything. He's been on special teams like that, but he can also make some noise in training camp. Who knows? Anything is possible now that Gurley's in Atlanta. So you have all these options, all these questions. It's kind of like, just don't ride the hype. Just draft with caution, draft with knowledge. And the thing is with Henderson, again, I don't want to knock this kid's talent at all. I think he's very explosive. I think he has great catching ability, and I think his head is on a swivel. He's there for the checkdowns. It's just, he's going into year 2. Let's wait and see what he can do before we start riding the wave. So that's really all I got for you for this comparison between Brown and Henderson, because it's just, I'm hearing it too much of it, HendersonSzn or whatever. So I just wanted to get my input, my opinion on everything out there. So that's really all I got for you guys today. And I did this in one take. I barely have to even edit this video, and that's good. I think when you have homer players, you got to really go in. You got to show that passion, that drive you have for your homers. And I definitely want to get great content and big facts only for you guys that are watching and everybody that supports me. And I really want to take this moment to thank you guys. You guys give me the will, you give me the drive to actually sit here and edit these videos all night, be recording 6:30 in the morning before I go to work, or late at night, 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. So I want to thank you guys. I definitely want to shout out Rum Boys. I definitely want to shout out Nick from Big Dogs Gotta Eat, Nicky Snacks, Animal, all you guys. I want to thank the Little Dogs Gotta Eat, Tyler Moss and his team with Nick and all them. And I definitely want to thank the guys on the RDF HQ staff doing the thing. Sean, Lucas, Tyler also just doing your damn thing. Shout out to my boy Cody. We got big things coming this next couple months. I want him to basically come on, join me as a partner for Real Deal Fantasy on YouTube. And I'm just ranting right now. I've never done this in a video, so I'm just going to let all this rock. I'm not editing none of this out. But I definitely want to just thank you guys of all the support you guys give me for making these videos. And I know this shouldn't be part of a Darrell Henderson versus Malcolm Brown, but screw it. Who cares? Like, I do what I want. This is my network, and it is what it is. But anyway, so that's all I got for you guys today. And probably didn't give you much numbers, but I just gave you a good debate, basically, and a couple things to think about. And I'll see you guys next week for another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ.